Hey, welcome to Plants Are My Therapy, and today I'm going to talk about philodendrons. Philodendrons are so easy to care for that it's practically a weed. It's so easy to propagate that in no time you're going to have a lot of them. I have this plant all over my house, and if it can't handle the low light, I'll take it outside and let it enjoy the bright indirect light, and it'll recover in no time. This plant I got as a $3 plant, and I repotted it and I put it under the shade on top of a 6-foot wall, and it just grew and grew and grew. I decided to put it around a totem. This totem I made out of a dead fern tree bark and wrapped it up with potting soil, and the philodendron turned into a monster. The tendrils didn't hang, it began to reach and search. I had it under the mango tree down the slope. I had to take it up and put it where I can watch it so it doesn't grab any tree and strangle it. I've seen passion fruit vines grow up trees, get so heavy that it tears the tree down. I didn't want this philodendron to do that to my mango tree. I've propagated this plant so many times that I take little care, because even if I lose half of my cuttings, I still have a huge mother plant outside, and I never lose half of my cuttings. I propagate by cutting right above a leaf node with a healthy leaf on it, mostly because I don't want the mother plant to look like it's been cut. So at the end of all of my cuttings from the plant, I have a leaf on it, and the mother plant still looks good. And this works well for the cuttings too. This plant looks great in a pot or in a hanging basket, but it's so easy to propagate that you can stick it anywhere in your house, and if they begin to struggle, they'll recover. Another benefit of having a lot of these plants is that I can recycle my soil. This soil is from plants that I've changed or repotted up, and it's still good soil. It doesn't smell foul like feces. If it smells like feces, then it's probably has anaerobic bacteria in it, and that's not good to use. I'm just going to refreshen this used soil by adding another cup of potting soil, another cup of orchid bark, and some vermiculite to make sure I don't end up with a brick. Because even though these philodendrons are easy to propagate and easy to care for, I want it still to look good, and that's another benefit, because since these plants are really this sturdy, they look good. I even use my recycled pots. Well, I recycle everything. I love using these coffee filters for a barrier at the bottom of these pots. I use gravel for drainage. I don't stress over the soil recipe because these plants can probably handle everything. I just don't want to end up having to repot the plant after a couple of weeks. These are cuttings that I've had in this vase for about 2 weeks, and it's such a easy way to propagate. This vase sat on my kitchen table for the last 2 weeks, and look at all the roots that these cuttings have developed. Okay, that's a dud. Even if I lose half of my cuttings, I'll still have a lot left to make a pretty good plant. And I never lose half my cuttings. Usually they all take, or I just lose a few. Look at the roots that are developed, and these are just from cuttings that's been sitting on my kitchen table about 6 feet away from the nearest light. I clean the cutting from all litter and make sure there's no parasites that have snuck aboard. I trim the cuttings so they'll fit in the pot, being very careful about the roots. Then I arrange them in the pot. I'm arranging these cuttings to go a certain way because I'm going to train these cuttings to go up another totem. I have a secret project that I'm in the process, and this will do perfect for one of the plants one of the things that I'm doing over there. As far as the cuttings that didn't root, I just don't throw them away. I give them a second chance. I'm going to propagate these leaves as leaf cuttings in soil. I propagate by leaf by cutting the stem about 1/4 inch above and below the leaf. So you can see how it is like this. And since you got the idea, no sense wasting your time. Making these little leaf cuttings for propagation is quite quick. You just grab a branch and then start cutting about a 1/4 inch above and below the leaf. It's not going to take you any time at all. Then I recycle another pot. I use my coffee filter. I have a lot left over from when I used to make coffee. I put gravel on the bottom for drainage. I use my refreshened recycled soil, and then I just casually place these leaf cuttings around the edge of the pot. I pay very little care of how I place them because usually these leaf cuttings all root and grow new plants, and the more leaf cuttings that you have in, the more fuller the plant will look. But even if I lose half of them, I'll still have a pretty good looking plant, and I never lose half of them. These plants usually all take root. Then I always cover these cuttings with gravel. I covered the other one with gravel too. The reason for this is that I'm going to leave these plants outside in a shaded area, because in a bright shaded area these plants will thrive and grow quickly. And I'm not going to be watering them with a little water pot. I usually just spray them gently down with a hose because I have a lot of other plants I'm going to have to take care of. And this is a plant that I planted months ago in the same way that I planted these leaves. All these little leaves in the middle are new plants, and it looks nice. It looks like it's going to be a really nice plant, and it took little care or effort. This plant is a weed. It's a beautiful weed. It grows great. And as far as the rest of the cuttings, I'm just gonna propagate it in water again. This skinny little vase takes up no space on my kitchen table, and the roots will be right there. If I see roots, I know it's time to pot the plants, and I'll check all the other cuttings. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you were able to pick up a few tips from my trials and errors. I really appreciate you pressing like and leaving a comment and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Aloha.